Welcome to ATB TV. I'm Darren Dance here with Peter Morgandy on this balmy Friday night, 26 degrees, a few thunderstorms rolling around, Peter. Bit of heavy rain here and there. Cox Plate Eve. So we'll come and talk about the Cox Plate a little bit later and get your insight into who you think can win. But before we do that, let's go through last week's runners.
Righto, we had a pretty good start to the week, which commenced last Saturday, Caulfield Cup Day, which was brilliantly won by Incentivise. But we had Steinem, our hybrid filly, running in, what was the name of the race? She ran second behind Colette Tristark. Should know, we've won it before. She was brilliant. She was really good second up.
Yeah, look, she was second up, 1,400 metres. Colette was obviously third up and got her ground, the wet track. Yeah, she settled back probably, second last in a small field, but John McNeil took off and, she ran a massive race and she looked the winner there for a little bit, but Colette had her back and just peeled off and probably beat her by just over a length or just on a length. I know Damien Lane got a little bit of time for excessive wet use, but look, I was really proud of her to run second in a Group 2. Terrific effort. They'll probably both meet again in the Empire Rose over a mile on Derby Day. I know we've got a lot of improvement because we're only second up. If it's not wet, probably goes against Colette a little bit. So I'm not sure who else is going to be in the field at this stage, Pete, but I think we can go there as a live chance on Derby Day. If she takes natural improvement, she relishes Flemington, she relishes the extra 200 metres. I think we go to the Empire Rose Group 1 with a live chance.
I agree. I think too, she's got a devastating turn of foot. And at Flemington, you don't have to reveal that until 300 from home. Whereas I think Jai he played jockeys. He knew where Colette was and tried to get a break, and he probably ended up going on a 600 from home. She sustained the run. So I'd say at Flemington, you can sit pretty and then wait, and that turn of foot is devastating, and that's what'll it'll be a big asset at Flemington. We had a couple of runners at Bendigo. I'll go to the horse that was runner-up for a start, which was Street Baby. Now, in a new stable, Andrew Bobbin transferred over from Daniel Bowman on Daniel's recommendation that she go find a nice, quiet environment. And she was great first up to run second. Young girl, Kieran Quilty, I think it was her name, rode her. The home turn, you was probably thinking, was she going to beat? And he went home, and probably 100 out were thinking she was going to win. A little bit deceptive on the TV, but it was a great pipe opener.
Yeah, look, went super first up. I think I told everyone that listened that she had no hope first up and she'd need the run. She's a stayer. And, I was scraping the eggs off my face at the 200. I don't know if she hit the lead or not, but it looked like she almost hit the lead. And I thought, oh, hang on, she's going to win here. And to be honest, all day, nothing did anything on the fence. So for her to run second there on the fence, first up over an unsuitable distance, she's obviously come back in great order. She's obviously relishing, being up there at Andrew Bobbin's place, up in the Grampians there on that sand-based track. And, that was a terrific return. And, you'd think based on that, she'd be in for a really, really good preparation.
Yeah, she'd have to be hard to beat. She comes through it well out to a mile, even second up. So her fitness is obviously there, and that would have blown the cobwebs out. A couple of races before that, we had the big boy, the good wine, Owenology. Rubber stamped the first two runs we've seen, where he'd been unluckily second at Donald and Geelong, and out to a mile and a good barrier for a change. And if you can bet in running, you would be jumping on at the 800-metre mark, and you end up winning by 4.
Yeah, well, in the run, he was the only horse travelling at the 600, and you didn't really want to be on anything else. I was looking back in the field to see if there was anything coming, but they were all off the bit, and he was cruising. And Yeah, I was just hoping that he was going to let down and finish it off, and he did, and won as he liked. You know, a terrific win. Zach Spain's ridden him all his starts. He's done a great job, Zach Spain. I'm not sure really why he's riding at Bendigo Provincials on the weekend. Just shows the depth of the jockeys we've got in this state. The horse was terrific, and you know, he won as he liked in a hand canter, and he'll probably go to Melbourne Flemington Cup Day over 1800, and on that form, you know, he'll be really, really competitive in that race. So, no, terrific win. Congratulations to the owners. He's an exciting horse. 3 starts, a win, and 2 seconds. And Matty Williams has done a great job with him. And yeah, Zach Spain hasn't done a thing wrong. So, Zach Spain, if he wants to, he can ride him at Flemington on Melbourne Cup Day.
Highlights of Ovis scheme again, Darren. There was about 32,000 jumped in. It's unbelievable the money you can win out of a maiden.
He's won a maiden race at Bendigo on a Saturday, and he's picked up 30-odd thousand. So
yeah,
it's a terrific scheme. And you know, when you're buying these horses, it gives you such a great chance. You know, for this horse now, he's probably won what, 40-odd thousand, 47,000. And he's won a maiden at Bendigo from 3 starts. So from a you know, training perspective, you know, that's a lot of preparations that he's paid for.
Yep.
And you know, he's an exciting horse.
Back down the road, not far from Bendigo, we went to Avoca with Madam Mischief, and she ran 3rd. She couldn't lead. It's probably a bit of her makeup. If she leads and is able to bowl along, she's fine. If she can't, look, she battled on, but she was probably never looking like the winner. Obviously, we've had discussions with the ownership since, and we might look at a swan song for her in the next week or 2 days, next week to 10 days.
Yeah, well, that's her grade, around that 58 mark. Yeah, she's been a handy man. She's won about $100,000. She's just stuck in that at that level, and you know, sometimes you go to Avoca in these places and you think you'll just win, but they all ride really hard there, and they know it's a leader's track, so everyone wants to lead, and then if you can't lead, you can't really win. So sometimes you're better off to take the harder option and you get a softer lead, if that makes sense. But look, she was honest as usual to run 3rd. Yeah, and you know, we've spoken to the owners during the week, and it's looking like now she'll have 1 more start, and then she'll go online and find a new home somewhere, probably you know, up in country New South Wales or Queensland or even Darwin, where you know, she'll be very competitive in those jurisdictions where it's 4 to 6 lengths weaker than what it is in Victoria. So all the owners are sort of in favour of that. She's kind of reached a mark, and she'll have 1 more go, and might be a little bit of a chance that some of the owners might be able to go and watch her have a last go. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. But no, she's been an honest mare, and through Vobis, she's won a lot of money. So
yep.
It's another great advertisement for Super Vobis.
Yeah, I think she won 30-odd thousand or more at her first start. It's won 100,000, 150 with Pat. So she paid for her 2 preps she's been. And if her swan song is at Warrnambool, where there's a couple of opportunities, she has won there and raced very well there. So we'll see what unfolds in the next week or so. We had 3 runners at Horsham. Now, first, as an apology, we better get out there to the Danny Classic people, so I didn't put her on the rundown sheet. And I'm sure Dave Farrell would have been the first to notice it, probably text you, because he didn't text me. But anyway, she did run, and she ran well for 3rd. I think this highlights she's a big track horse, and she drew wide, and we rode her up for speed. She's got some natural toe, but at the end, she was just found wanting, just trying to work outside the leader. She'll be better once we push out to another 2 or 3, or out to 2,000 and on a bigger track. But she was good first up, and I think she was a bit better second up to run 3rd.
Yeah, well, we didn't talk about it. We did miss her off the running sheet, and when she was heavily backed into about second favourite, there were a few owners asking whether we were keeping the odds for ourselves, Pete. But no, I didn't have nothing on her myself. I just thought I'd wait till she got out a little bit further in distance. No, she ran honest. She's going to win a race or two, but it's not going to be until, as you say, she gets on those bigger tracks over more ground. So she's going to be fit enough now. She's a big, strong racehorse. That would have cleaned her up a lot. And look, probably fourth up, you'd think she'll be in peak fitness and ready to win.
Yeah, I agree there. Black Mirror, she ran fifth. Couldn't lead, sat outside the leader, but she's a bit plain. She's now in the paddock. We've had discussions with Pat. She'd had about 8 runs in 14 weeks, so might be a reason why she was a bit over it. She did have that tough run at Moonee Valley, and I think she was a bit flat off the back of that. And while she battled an okay, she'd gone around in that class, that trip and all that, and won easy sort of 3 starts ago. So the measurement off that told you that she was a bit off.
Yeah, she was definitely over the top. Started favourite, and everything said that she'd be winning there, and she disappointed. She's in the paddock for that reason. So she'll have her 4 to 6 weeks off now and go back in and get ready for the autumn. There's definitely city wins in her next preparation, but she's done a good job this prep, and I'm sure we can step up to that city grade in the autumn with her.
Yeah, she's made good progression. A win at Coleraine, a win at Horsham, and then a 5th at the Valley. And like you said, we need to take the next step with her next prep. Right, ran in the $100,000 benchmark 70 over 14. That first and second horses head to Flemington on Oaks Day. He drew wide, and we obviously were wanting to ride him forward, and he had to work a bit to get outside the leader. But gee, on the home turn, he gave a decent kick, but he just had to work too hard, and they got swamped by 4 or 5 horses late. The winner is a nice horse, an undefeated horse of Peter Moody. So beaten about 1 length and 3/4. It was a good run. It was probably measured up to the Coleraine win. Look, that's where he is. I mean, it's tough to win those $100,000 races.
Yeah, the good horses chase the big money, and he's done a good job to finish where he did. And I like the way he battled on, and I think it impressed the trainer, Lindsay Smith, as well. So he's obviously having just a 10-day freshen up now, and he'll be set for those races over summer around Warrnambool. I think it's, the Port Fairy Cup and
Woodford Cup, Croy Cup.
Croy Cup or Woodford Cup, those sort of races, which we won with Mr. Moneybags last year, and I think he's leaning towards that way. So he can pick up some good dollars at the end of the year, just when all these spring horses have sort of gone past and out of the road. So that's what I'll aim at with him. But no, he did fight on well, and I think Lindsay's finally got the key to this horse.
Yeah, there's also, when I spoke to Lindsay, there's a couple of races at the Valley that might suit him earlier in those earlier leading into those races you mentioned. So he's back in form, and I think the key to him is you just got to sort of let him know who the boss is, or the pilot does. Mornington I've lost now. I presume that's Monday with Roderer. He was first up. He was out the back, and he might have passed 1 or 2 in the home straight, but that's sort of typical of him over 1,200. He needs to get to a mile.
Yeah, first up, it was a glorified trial, really, and we didn't expect much, and we didn't get much. So, 3rd or 4th up for him. More than likely, he's an older horse, probably in his final prep. He'd really have to strike gold to push on with him, but he's running around there trying to get fit, and Logan McGill, I'm sure he'll get in there, and there'll be a win in him this prep again.
Yep. The disappointing run was yesterday at Ballarat. We had Raise the Colours, who we've seen in her first and only prep to be, so above average, but she certainly got good ability. She was first up. She was woeful. She finished last. I know the jockey eased up on her. Got a horrible habit of hanging in. He didn't have a lot of luck on her. He was wide and pushed forward. But, yeah, look, anyway, it was an awful run, but the vets cleared her of any obvious. Paul and Holly have run eyes and hands and everything across her, and she's eaten up. She was a little bit, I think as Holly said, a little bit jaded in the paddock today, but that's most horses after a run. But There's been a lot of gear go on it to try and get her right, and a lot of trials and a lot of everything. But Paul's going to, as he said, strip everything off her and start from scratch again.
Yeah, I think it was a horrible watch. You know, it's not often you see a horse travel like that and then just go sideways pretty much one way and then sideways the other way. And it was just horrible to watch, to be honest. Yeah, I think Paul's right. Just got to get all that gear off her. I think we're trying to fix a hanging in problem by putting gear on her. It's just made it worse. She's overreacted to the blinkers and the bubble checker and everything else, and just didn't look comfortable. Action looked terrible. Here's the down. Look, we've only got one choice here, and that is we've got to take all the gear off her. Probably got to try and find the rail in the run. You know, somehow we just got to find the rail so that if she does hang in, she hangs in towards the rail. But look, she's a filly that ran in the Oaks last year. We had big opinion of her. She won really, really well as a young horse. And I don't know, these razor flags, they're tricky to train. I can tell you, they're really tricky to train. So, you know, whether she just hasn't come up this preparation, you know, we're spring, maybe she's cycling as a mare, maybe she's a better autumn horse. There's a million questions that we don't have the answers to. But all we can do is take all the gear off her, get her on a nice track, and hopefully try and find the rail and see if we can see something that we like. Otherwise, I think we just got to pull up stumps and start again.
I won't tell you what Paul said, but it ended with raise the flag, and it started with F with a few other words in between. He said he's had a few of them, and they're all got little quirks. He said from one day to another, or one day to the next, they can just change. But he did say,
very tricky horses.
He said, I'm up for the fight. He said, so we'll just see what unfolds in the next week or 10 days with her. But I don't think you'll have to wait too long from what Paul said to me yesterday before she's back at the races. So we just watched, before we go on air live, we just watched Never Again. I might have said something similar about Never Again last week, but he drew a nice gate. The rain never come. He had a dry track. He'd never been at the Valley. Admittedly, that can undo a lot of horses, but he couldn't even get on the bridle. He finished what he beat 1 home.
Beat 1 home. He was the first horse to come off the bridle in the run. Look, this has been terrible. First up run for us, I think he ran 4th, unlucky not to run 3rd. And since then, he's just seems to have lost the passion for racing, or just doesn't seem to be able to go with him at this time of year. But
he might have been looking for
logs.
I'm
not sure.
Clinton said he was going to put him over the logs.
Yeah, I really don't know what the answer is. Don't know what the answer is here. I guess we give him another go over carnival time, and there's a lot of races coming up, so we give him another go there. And I think we've just got to review his future. But he's racing in very, very poor form, this horse. He's lost about 6 lengths.
Yeah, I agree. The other race we spoke about is Cup Day, and there's a benchmark 90, I think, over 1,400. So, I mean, you can't. One thing about carnival time, there's 40 odd races. So if there can't be a diluted benchmark 90 somewhere there along the lines, well, hopefully we can find it. But yeah, he has to improve 6 or 8 lengths. Coming up, runners, Darren. Sale, Sunday, Hasseltoft. Now, ever a horse, if you want to draw a double-figure digit barrier, here's a horse that can draw it. 16, I think you've worked it out that he'll come from 12 or 14 if there's a couple of scratchings. 1,400 metres, Jai McNeil on.
We scratched him from Geelong. During the week due to the gate. Normally what happens there is when you do that in your next run, you draw the same gate. And that's exactly what's happened here. He's drawn 16. He'll come out at 12 if it all stays the way it is now. He's come up $5.50. So that tells you that he's second favourite in the field.
Yeah.
And it's not a strong race. But I think he has to go around. I think we have to go now. This is a qualifier for Flemington. We don't want to leave it at the last minute, but I think it's a lovely big track at Sale with a big long straight. And I just think we have to go around now. Otherwise it's going to be too long between runs and then it's going to be a short backup. So, no doubt we'll talk to Robbie over the next day or two, but I'd be expecting to run Hasseltoff at Sale. And, if he gets the right run with John McNeil on, there's no reason why he shouldn't be running the top three.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you don't make it, I'm sure there's something there during the carnival that, $100,000 race anyway. So we'll see what comes up there. So nothing on Monday. Tuesday, we've got Miss 10,000 at Swan Hill over a mile. Benchmark 58. Harry Coffey on, gate 3. She didn't handle the wet last start at Bendigo. I think we've all seen that. She travelled up until they asked her to go, and then I think it was only a field of 5, and she just sort of floundered in the wet. But you'd be pretty stiff if you got a heavy 8 up at Swan Hill. So I think she's galloped well, trained on well, and the team's happy with her. And geez, you expect her to win a 58 at Swan Hill.
Yeah, well, look, she was horrible the other day in that wet track. You could just see she didn't handle it. The Spirit of Burns are no good in the wet. The mare, she's never thrown a horse that's done anything in the wet. So, and the mare herself couldn't go in the wet. So, look, she gets the chance here. She's $5.50 in the early markets. Second favourite behind Henry Dwyer's horse, Honourable Mention at $3.80. Oh, and then there's Cirky's got one in, it's $5. So, look, she's right in the market. If she's trimmed up, taken no harm from that run in the wet, and we get a nice enough track, she's going there a solid winning chance.
Yep, for sure. No fields out for Bendigo Cup Day, but if Hasseltoff for some reason doesn't go to Sale, well, he's nominated there. And a Dandyman who missed out by 1, I think it was 4th emergency at Geelong, and there was 3 scratchings, not 4. So he missed out a first up run at Geelong. Hopefully he gets a run at Bendigo. Just frustrating with these horses.
Well, it's very hard, isn't it?
Prince, yeah.
Just can't get runs, and you're in there ready to go, and you can't get a start. So, it's frustrating, and we know he's going to need the run first up. So, it makes it very hard for the trainer and makes it hard for the owners to be patient. But we just got to hope he gets a run at Bendigo. Otherwise, I don't know where we end up. Probably down at Warrnambool somewhere. So, anyway, look, the horse is going to need the run anyway. So we just got to get him back to the races.
Yeah, I think Mitch even said if it gets to the stage, you miss another 2 weeks, he'll kick him off in a 58 because you're guaranteed to get a run. You might have to claim, but you just need to get those miles into those staying types legs. And then we spoke about Madam Mischief. There's 2 opportunities for her. One's next Thursday, and the other one's Friday week after that. So that's it. Not too many there to dissect, Darren. The multi's thin.
No, the multi's thin. I think it's Hasseltoff all up Miss 10,000 at whatever it is, 27, 28 to 1.
Is that what
we'll
it
have
is?
To go thin this week. We couldn't have been far off the other day with Owenology, Sign in the Place.
They're all there.
Probably Madam Mischief and Black Mirror probably missing the place probably killed us. But, I'd be going Hasseltoff and Miss 10,000, $5.50 each or 2. Adds up quick.
30 to 1. I'd take that. They're both genuine chances. So, yep. Tipping this week, Darren.
Cox Plate.
Yeah. Cox Plate's the race. We've got 3 equal leaders. And they've tipped a winner in each of the 3 weeks. They're on 12 points. Can't remember who they are now.
Fair effort.
Al Brown's won.
Alan Brown. Yep. Fair effort. Fair effort.
I haven't got my sheet.
Now, Pete, Cox Plate. Who are you going with?
As I said, the weathers are playing a part. I have been Animo. But I'm swinging towards Very Elegant because of the wet. And I think it brings Zaki back into play, although I don't know whether Zaki goes 100% this way compared to the Sydney way. Yeah, I'll probably have Very Elegant in me multi or whatever I do, or I may even just watch the race, Darren. That sometimes is easiest. Yourself?
No, it's a tough one, isn't it? It's an even race. I've been a Zaki fan all the way through. I just felt maybe the hard track brought him undone last start. And I'm banking on the fact the hard track brought him undone. Coming from the UK, they normally like a bit of cut in the ground. So I always forgive a horse one bad run. So I'll probably stick with Zaki, even though he's too short to have something on 260, 280. Probably will beat him last time and $17. So that's probably because it doesn't handle the wet. The mare, Very Elegant, I just wonder whether the fact that you can't use these drugs down here, Regulate, to stop them cycling, whether a mare that she's in season mightn't be the go for her. I just wonder, I'm going to stay with Zaki. In our tipping, Pete, we offered up 4 tickets for the people that were drawn out, and we still got, after the Caulfield Cup, they both have incentivised, and we've got two of those 4 are still in the game, Pete, to win some big money.
So, we got the favourites too, Darren.
Yeah, we've got Karen Dunstan. She's got Animo in the Cox Plate, and Danny Moran's got Zaki. So let's hope one of those is still alive after Saturday. It'd be a shame if they both got blown out, but it'd be nice to think either Karen or Danny are still alive after Saturday and go into the Melbourne Cup a live chance. If Karen Dunstan gets Animo up Saturday, she'll have Grand Promenade running for $6,160. And if Zaki gets up for Danny Moran, he'll have incentivised running in the Melbourne Cup to win $1,470, Pete, which, gee whiz, incentivised. It was super impressive, and just right now, you'd have to think it's got a mortgage on the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, I think Danny only has to get Zaki home to collect. I don't know. There's nothing in the Caulfield Cup that could possibly beat incentivised.
Well, unlike Sportsbet, I won't be paying out early.
No, unbelievable, eh? Paying out on a Melbourne Cup. That's brave.
$6 million they paid out.
Big herders.
How much money are these bookies making?
They must expect all that to be turned over about 10 times in between now and the Cup, which it probably will be.
Probably will be, mate. Yeah.
I did see one of our artists from Queensland had a collect out of that and thanked them.
Yes, Jared Birrell.
Yes. So anyway, yeah, look, of course, the small print with those multis too is that there's 50% for me and you in there or something like that, or 50% along the line.
Do we actually have to give them? Do we have to give these guys anything?
Oh, right. There's only monopoly money.
Didn't we have it all on Never Again?
Oh, yeah, we're gone before we start. Never again. Anyway,
Cox Plate Day's here. By the time we get back on air next week, it's going to be Derby Eve. And we're looking forward to the 4 days of Flemington. I see they announced today 5,000 at Derby Day.
Yep.
So that's great news.
Slowly.
And hopefully we'll have Steinem running there, and then Melbourne Cup Day, probably Never Again, and Serious Suspect, who had a nice little trial at Flemington this morning.
Yep.
And then it depends on what happens with Hasseltoff, I guess, whether we have any other starters for the week.
Yeah, well, if Hasseltoff can run 1-2 at Sale, he'll be there Thursday, Oaks Day. So, yeah, we've got a few fingers in the pie there, hopefully, for viewing during the 4-day carnival.
All right, well, that's a wrap for this week, Pete.
Yep. Not much racing other than Flemington that week. I think Kyneton's the middle pin, isn't it? Kyneton Cup Day on the Wednesday. I have no idea what's on the Monday. Might be Swan Hill. Friday, everyone's hungover.
Oh, and then the carnival's over.
Yeah, unbelievable.
How quick it goes.
That's it.
Well, Yeah, so let's look forward to seeing what unfolds in the Cox Plate. It's going to be a great race. It's a very even race, so it's going to be a great spectacle. And I don't know, Pete, there'll be no one sitting at home in Melbourne in their lounges watching it. I reckon every TV in Melbourne will be switched off tomorrow because there won't be one person inside, and good on them.
Melbourne will be hung over tomorrow, Darren, I reckon. The whole city. They'll be out and about tonight, won't they?
You know how in lockdown there was no toilet paper left? Well, now every pub's going to run out of beer.
I was going to say, imagine if the lockdown coincided with people being allowed back at the races. There would have been about 30,000 at Moonee Valley tonight. But anyway, I'm sure they're all tuned in somewhere at the pub watching the races.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of hangovers and a lot of fun being had. And, you know, it just feels like we're getting to the end of this. So it's a really good feeling leading up to Christmas that maybe finally we're getting on top of the issues we've had here for the last 18 months. So people can get out and about and start to get their life back and catch up with their families, which is really what it's all about. So
absolutely.
Anyway, until next week, I'm Darren Dance here with Peter Morgani. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your freedom, Melbourne, and we'll talk to you all next week.
See you guys.